This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the town of North Haven.
Good evening, and welcome to the August 2020 meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners for Town of North Haven. My name is Larry Lazaroff, Chairman. To my left is Robin Wilson, Vice Chairman. To my right, Mark Calafiore, our Secretary, Alden Mead, Commissioner, and Bob Hannon, Commissioner. We are sticking with the Governor's Declaration of Public Health by staying socially distant, and we're wearing masks as we entered. So, with that being said, I'd like to ask for an approval of the minutes of the July 28th, 2020 meeting, both regular and executive sessions.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Mark, any correspondences?
Mr. Chairman, we do not. None this month.
Okay.
But we do encourage the public to send in their letters of either praise or complaint. Commission will take it. Complaint or concern, sure. Send them in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Chairman's report. There have been several marches for the Black Lives Matter movement in the town of North Haven, and the chief will expand upon that in his report. I want to again thank Lieutenant Stravides for planning the operations for the protection of the citizens as well as the marchers. He did a fine job, and I want to recognize him, as well as everybody on this North Haven Police Force. Outstanding. We are in the process, as I mentioned last month, of getting a new dog for the police department, and the police, the chief will also expand on that. The chief and the deputy have been meeting with the SROs because school is starting soon, and they want to make sure that everybody's prepared to know their responsibilities. And that being said, with school starting soon, just a note, please drive carefully. I mean, we always drive carefully, just be alert. There's going to be children walking to their bus stops and crosswalks, so please pay attention. The police accountability in Hartford passed. It's a little bit of a concern for all of us, and I'm sure the chief will also expand upon that. And I just had a question to the chief and deputy about the drug disposal box in the lobby. I just was wondering, how often is that empty? Do you call when it gets full, or is this a planned routine? Or
that box is, matter of fact, we just emptied it this past week.
Mhm.
That's been getting I think we get, maybe once a month?
Yeah,
Maybe,
they check on it often when it's close to full, they empty it. We just sent a package to be disposed of that was 150 pounds.
Okay.
That was the last 5 months.
Okay.
So you gotta remember too, in April, when we normally have our DEA sponsored turning,
Mhm.
that was postponed, and then they normally have one in October. So what's really nice about having it here is people have taken advantage of disposing their prescription meds, and we do get rid of it. It's the dollars that it costs are insignificant.
Mhm.
It's really not.
Yeah. And that was really the point of my answer to the question. I want to make sure the public's aware we do have this box in the lobby of the police department. You can come in, obviously, without any questions. No one's looking at you. No one cares. We're happy you're disposing of medication properly, and I want to make sure the public is aware of that.
Right. Absolutely.
Who actually disposes of it?
We take it. We take it to a burn plant, and we get rid of it. We dispose of it. Our property, we send 2 property officers with it, so it gets, anything that's there gets disposed of properly. There's a lot of checks and balances, so things don't disappear the wrong way.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. I have nothing further from my chairman's report, so I'll pass it on to the chief.
Okay, so just a few quick PSAs as far as the traffic. Some of our concerns, and one of them is the tropical storm that we had recently. And the town's been gracious enough to dispose of some of the debris that we have, some of the trees, the branches. Everyone's been putting them out by their curb and they've been picked up little by little. But there are some sight lines that are created by that, and we want to just remind everybody, when you're at the intersections in particular, that you have to be exercising some added care there. And then what that's going to do is, as soon as that's gone, because of the season I think we had, we're going to see the leaves coming down sooner than normal. So we're going to roll in from one into the other. So, you know, the branches in the tree and the sticks that are out there now, and, you know, shortly thereafter, just a reminder that there'll be leaves out there. And then just to spin off on the chairman's comments about the schools and the reopening of the schools. Unless things have changed or do change, because everything here is very fluid, we do want to remind everybody that on September 8th, as it stands right now, that's going to be the first week for the middle school and high school. That's going to be virtual or remote. And then that next week on the 15th, that's when the buses are going to start rolling. So we do want to remind everyone to expect that there's going to be students waiting for their buses. And as we've said in years past, you know, whenever you put a group of young people together on a corner, there's always a little clowning around, if that's the nice way to put it. So you got to expect somebody to walk out or be in the curb, and we want them to be careful. The elementary schools, obviously, they start on the 8th as well, as of today that I know of. They're going to do 2 weeks of virtual or remote from home, and then they will start on the 21st. So the buses will run a little bit later on there, but we do want everybody to be very, very careful. Red light. If you see a group of students standing on a corner and you see a bus approaching from the opposite direction, you're going to assume that bus is going to stop to pick these people up. You should reduce your speed. If you see the yellow lights go on, you should be stopping, okay? Because it's going to go from yellow to red, and we don't want any accidents. That's the key. Relative to our budget, the budget that recently started on July 1, again, we mentioned last month, we were off to a good start, and we continue that trend. Right now, we do impose, and this is something we do, the Deputy Chief and I have been doing for years, is we impose a self restriction so to speak, for a month. And what it does is it's right now we're trending at probably about 3% under budget, so that's a good thing. Uniform services in the ISU, the Detective Bureau put that together. We still want to alert our residents and business owners to exercise the use of their PPE and the safe distancing. We don't know where that's going to land with the school reopening. Some people are suggesting that it's going to impact the schools negatively, and we may have some virtual or remote schooling from home sooner than later. We don't know that. That's subject to debate, but we want everybody to follow the CDC recommendations, obviously, and that goes into the school season as we go. Just spinning off a little bit more on the COVID as it relates to our calls for service and the call volume since beginning of this year versus the beginning of last year. Our numbers, our calls for service are rebounding a little bit. We're still down about 9% at this point. Our traffic stops are well below that. They're down about 39%. I'm not necessarily, we talked about the police accountability last month. I think that as a result of that, you may see that our traffic stops will continue to maintain a lower than expected number. Our arrests as a result of the COVID are down roughly 13%. Our traffic stops again are down. Our larcenies as far as our shoplifting are about the same. And our vehicle thefts are about the same. We have had an uptick in the vehicle burglaries. So we have to remind everybody, lock your cars at night. We've been saying this for a long time. It's not just a North Haven thing. This is something that's going on through the whole state for quite some time. All these cars are unlocked. Nobody's having windows broken to get into the car. Nobody's prying doors open. These cars are all unlocked.
With contents visible.
The content's visible, and the few car thefts that we've had, a good number of them either have a valet key that's in the glove box or in the console, or some of them even have a key fob in there. So the person's taking the vehicles, obviously, when they see a push button ignition, first thing they're gonna do is step on the brake and push the button, and if it starts, they're gone. So you gotta lock everything up, you know? The burglaries are about the same. Our traffic accidents are down, and that's because for 3.5 months, everybody was pretty much staying at home. Since our last police commission meeting, we have experienced 2 overdose in drug overdose in town. One was in fact fatal. So that's something we continue to work on as well. We have, as you mentioned, the Black Lives Matter protests. We had another event this past Saturday. This was our 4th event in our town. In talking to other chiefs in other communities, I talked to a couple of them yesterday. I had a chiefs event, and everyone is pretty much in the same boat as we are, having 2, 3, 4 events in each of the communities, including the suburbs. You know, this one on Saturday, it caused a little bit of a disruption with the traffic in the late afternoon and early evening. It was an event that was supposed to be on the town green that took to the street, went northbound on Washington Avenue, Route 5, a side street being George Street, to Pool Road out to Maple Avenue, and it came back Maple Avenue to the town green. You know, for some of the folks that were disappointed, some felt that, you know, we should have done more to stop it. These are political protests. These are things that are going to be protected by your First Amendment rights. And, you know, that said, there's already U.S. Supreme Court decisions on this. And anyone can Google it, or they can research it. There's no licensing requirements. There's no there's no reimbursement to the police department or the town. These are things that are protected by our Constitution. Okay? That's about the best we can explain that, and we try to protect everybody. We do our best to be in the middle. We don't take sides. That's not our job. So we just ask everybody to be as tolerant as they can, and not to get into any type of a breach of the peace or any type of a war of words. You know, this is a localized event. We want to keep it localized. We don't want to have agitators. There's already agitators on the inside, and there's agitators on the outside. You don't want to bring agitators that are not familiar with our local, our government here in our town. You don't want to bring outsiders in. So we just have to be tolerant with one another and move forward. And as far as the new dog, we have we selected a new dog. The dog should be arriving tomorrow, I believe. It's being purchased from a supplier in New York, somebody that the state police have used a number of times. So we're confident that we're getting a good canine partner. And that training will start at the very end of September or perhaps the beginning of October.
Who's the dog handler?
The new handler will be Officer Dahlstrom, Jonathan Dahlstrom.
Is that a name yet?
Not yet, we normally allow the handler to do that,
Sure.
unless you want to like have a fundraiser, I suppose, and we can do that.
Oh,
The 5 commissioners, we don't want to open it up to the outside.
I wasn't wanting to influence it, I just wanted to know about it. I think the dog handlers,
That's usually the best.
they have to live with the dog.
Yeah.
So they-
How old is the dog? I forgot.
This one I think is, what, 18 months?
Between 12 and 15 months, I'm
Yeah.
not sure exactly.
And it has a tail?
There you go. There you go.
That's an inside joke.
I'll get you for that.
That's an inside joke. Our support services and traffic, one of the things we're doing right now is we're monitoring the traffic light at Route 5 and Amazon driveway. We've got a couple of inquiries on that. Specifically at the, I think it's around 6 p.m. and perhaps the 7 a.m. Change of shifts. The way that the light cycles, from what I'm told from the state, is the northbound traffic of Washington Avenue as you're approaching the Amazon driveway. There is a advanced green arrow to go into the complex. And then that green arrow goes all green for all northbound traffic. And then it cycles back to another advanced green for the driveway again. So it's almost similar to what you have on Sackett Point Road at Universal Drive North. You have the advanced green, it goes all green, and then it goes an arrow again. Even with that in place, the traffic tends to back up. And it backs up a lot. I mean, you've got to remember, we're bringing in thousands of people a day to work there. So I'm thinking that the best solution on something like this, and we have to talk, it's a state road, so we're gonna have to discuss it with the state traffic engineers, is to perhaps have something similar to Universal Drive North as you're traveling north and you're approaching Eagle Crossing to go into Target. You have 3 lanes there, similar to what you would have at Washington Avenue, where the left lane is designated specifically for a left turn to go into the complex. The middle lane would be a turn or straight. All right, and then the right lane would be all northbound traffic. That's very, very similar to what they have down on Universal Drive North as you're coming over the bridge and you're approaching Eagle Crossing. So that may be the best solution.
So does data show there's no problem with that kind of configuration as far as accidents?
Well,
or
right now,
anything
we're
else?
having accidents, and we're keeping an eye on it, because as of, not this past week, but the weekend before, I think we had 4 crashes there already in August. So in the course of 2.5 weeks, we had 4 accidents. And what's happening is some of those people are doing what I just described anyway.
Mhm.
So they're doing it illegally right now.
Right.
So,
I'm talking about at Universal, at Target. Is that
no,
is that data clean? I mean,
That's clean, that's spotless as far as I know. I mean, that's,
so that works. It's effective.
I think it
Okay,
works.
okay.
you know, so we're gonna keep an eye on it, and we're gonna try to get the state involved in it. I know some people, they email me, they email the town hall, so we're aware of it in case anybody reaches out to you as individuals or as commissioners. We're trying to do something to correct that. As far as the Benary Scholarship, I do have 3 requests for scholarship considerations. One is from Lieutenant Stavridis for a graduate program that he's taking for 1 class. The second would be for Sergeant Wozniak for 1 class for a graduate program that he's involved in, and one is from Officer Rich De Palma for an undergraduate class that he's involved in.
Make a motion for all 3.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, any opposed?
We know how much money is in that fund left?
I know that we had talked about this a couple months ago, and we had enough. But we're getting to a point where we probably should look at,
Another fundraiser or?
some type of fundraiser. I know that the PBA normally infuses some money on an annual basis. We'll have to check with them on that.
So is the PPA having their car show this coming weekend for Labor Day?
The last I spoke with the organizers, our organizers, they were gonna go forward with it, and they were gonna reach out to the car club. Do you have any update on that?
I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was told, and also we contributed to it, that's why I assume they're going forward.
Yeah, they put an ad book together, they were gonna go forward with it, and last I talked to the lieutenant that's involved with it, he said he was gonna reach out to the car group, there's a plastic car group that helps us out, and he was gonna reach out to see if, we're gonna have to obviously modify it and have.
For distancing, sure.
We'll have to have some distance.
Are there any organizations that have grants for that scholarship?
No, because that's a
It's a
private concern.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then, just something, finally, as most everyone here in the room knows, I have been contemplating my retirement for some time, and just wanted to let everybody know that as of September 30, I am retired from the PD.
Congratulations.
Great job.
Let me speak and say you've done a fabulous job.
And then other than that, I got a few things for executive session, and that'll be it.
Excellent. Well, I'd be remiss, first of all, again, thank you for your service to this community. Outstanding job
Absolutely.
and well-deserved retirements.
Yeah, I'll echo that too, Chief. I've known you for a long time and you have been an outstanding chief and just an outstanding police officer and an all-around pretty good guy.
All around.
Well,
Yeah.
All around.
42 years, right?
That's it.
And I haven't known you that long, but I have learned a lot from you. And one of these days, I'll get you for that other comment.
I've never heard anything but praise from everyone I ever come in contact with, and it's well deserved.
Yeah, very well deserved.
Anything else from anybody? Any questions? No? Okay, can I have a motion to move out of regular session, go to executive session for personnel matters?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Beautiful. Okay, we are now out of executive session, back into regular session. So at this point, in light of the news of Chief McLaughlin's retirement, effective September 30th or earlier if something else happens in his career, it gives me great pleasure to announce that we are appointing Deputy Chief Kevin Glenn as our chief effective October 1st. Congratulations. Well deserved.
And I'll,
Chief, you've had a great career. Kevin, we expect a great career to follow, or an already superb career. So we look forward to working with you for many, many years.
I appreciate that, thank you.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye. All in favor?
Perfect.
Congratulations. Nothing further, I don't think. With that being said, we're at,
Hold on.
oh,
Do we have to announce the special meeting for next Tuesday? Or?
no, the chief will take care of that.
Yeah, that's it.
Great.
That being said, I have a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.